On Saturday night's loss to the Phoenix Suns, the Warriors displayed just about every defensive error possible. They ball watched, poorly defended ball screens, allowed easy paint penetration and at the point of attack, and botched switches. These errors, combined with paltry finishing inside the paint, led them to their fourth straight loss. So what's going on with their defense, and was their hot start just a fluke? Let's review. There were a lot of defensive errors in this game, so let's start with perhaps the simplest, ball watching. In modern spaced-out offenses, shooters are always moving to open space or trying to use off-ball screens to their advantage. But because of this, even a second of inattention can lead to a wide, open three. This time, it's Pod's focus on what Plumlee is doing that allows Tyus Jones to run into this corner unimpeded and splash this three. Although there's a host of things that go wrong in this possession, that's ultimately what leads to the score. And sometimes it's just at the last second. The Suns actually get a pretty favorable switch here with KD getting the mismatch against Pods and JK on Tyus Jones. But it's Kuminga who it seems like is actually aware, if you look where he's looking, of both what Tyus Jones is doing and, if you can see here, what Dunn is doing approaching with this back screen. It seems like he's aware of both of these things going on, but as you can see, he's just paying too much attention to KD on this mismatch and doesn't expect this quick pass to Tyus Jones, who shoots this three relatively uncontested, even though Kuminga was aware of that and the screen by Dunn. And the Warriors also made a lot of simple mistakes on ball screens, mostly related to inattention. So with the Warriors playing a pretty deep drop, you see as Iguodaro comes to set this high screen, Looney's in deep drop in the paint. It's on Moody here to be a lot more diligent about hugging on to Devin Booker, but he just doesn't. Look at how much space Devin Booker has. Iguodaro's setting a relatively loose screen here. Looney can't really do anything that far in, and Booker just gets a wide open three with no one around him, even though it's far away. So in this next high ball screen with Iguodaro and KD, the Warriors opt to force KD to his weak hand and away from the middle of the paint. But because he gets super deep and easy penetration anyway, and because Slow-Mo and TJD are doubled up on him, the Warriors are naturally in a personnel disadvantage. Notice with two here, we're now looking at the Warriors trying to cover O'Neal in the corner, Tyus Jones at the top, and Grayson Allen in this corner. And it's just too little too late. It's too late for Wiggins on this closeout, and it's way too late for Pods on the closeout to Royce O'Neal, who gets a wide open three. So perhaps the biggest issue facing the Warriors in this game, and honestly for the last two seasons, has been their inability to stop other offenses at the point of attack. So when offenses breeze into the interior, as Devin Booker does here quite easily on Lindy Waters, the defense has to make concessions. Rotations are forced, and small mistakes can be easily magnified. So Booker makes this great pass all the way out to Tyus Jones. And because GP2 is so dug deep into the paint, he's way too far to make a timely closeout onto Tyus Jones. And what this does is jumble the Warriors in the paint, because now Steph has taken Devin Booker and it's Lindy Waters that has to sprint basically from here all the way into the opposite corner, but it's all too little too late and Grayson Allen gets a wide open three. Here's a similar situation where Slow-Mo has allowed Grayson Allen to get penetration at the point of attack, but let's first watch the personnel to track what happens. So Wiggins was originally attached to KD. Steph originally has Royce O'Neal. TJD is actually showing help on this penetration, but he's on Iguodaro, and Iguodaro is trying to block Lindy Waters off from his man, Tyus Jones. But with this easy penetration, watch this kickout pass to KD. And because of this, the first switch happens. So Steph now is running to Kevin Durant, and then Wiggins has to then close out on to Royce O'Neal. But Royce O'Neal is going to be smart. He's going to drive this closeout on Wiggins. This penetration he gets here forces Slow-Mo to then try and provide help. But this leaves Grayson Allen wide open, and Lindy Waters is stunting this way away from Tyus Jones. So then it's a pass to Tyus Jones, and then it's a swing pass to Grayson Allen, and that's a wide open three. So the Warriors are a defense that is built on trust, meaning that the defenders need to trust one another to contain their assignments, and that defensive Swiss Army knives like Draymond can handle the gaps. But when defenders overhelp or aren't aggressive enough on their doubles, things like this happen. So in this situation, when Iguodala sets the screen originally, both Pat, Spencer, and Looney both opt to run to Booker, but they fail to prevent a pass out of this double. And because of this, it's a chain of reaction of overhelp. Now, to be clear, the Warriors might be in some sort of weird zone, but the idea still applies that once the ball finds its way into the inside, or once overhelp or a poor double happens, chaos ensues. So when he makes this pass, the Warriors cannot prevent this kick out to O'Neal. And now, because Moody, Hield, and Kuminga are all in the interior, they have to scramble. That forces this simple passing game. So Moody makes a late closeout to O'Neal. Then the ball makes its way to Monte Morris. And now Pat Spencer has to help off of Booker. And now Looney is way too deep into the paint and way too late to Booker, who's wide open in the original corner for the three. But it wasn't just on-ball issues or rotation issues. The Warriors also had trouble properly communicating and executing switches. Just watch Steph and Slow-Mo as the Suns come to set these staggered screens. So Steph's original man, Royce O'Neal, is going to come screen for Slow-Mo. And what Steph wants is for Slow-Mo to take this switch onto O'Neal, as you can see Steph pointing right here, and for Steph to take the assignment on Kevin Durant. But instead what happens is that everyone gets jumbled. Both Steph and Slow-Mo are now on Kevin Durant, and that leaves Royce O'Neal wide open with a ton of space, which then forces Lindy Waters to come make this rotation onto O'Neal, which lets him drive this closeout into the interior. And now Pods is reluctant to come too far off of Booker. Because he's driving this closeout, Lindy Waters, who was originally on him because he made the rotation, and Slow-Mo, who has to contain this closeout, leave Tyus Jones wide open on the wing, and that's another wide open three. Well, in this final clip, it's really just a simple moment of indecisiveness. Originally, we have Pods with this mismatch on Kevin Durant, and we have Draymond in this corner with Iguodala. You can see that Draymond actually tells Pods with this motion, that little motion with the back of his hand, to take the switch down low onto Iguodala so he can take Kevin Durant. But then he actually changes his mind at the last second. You can see he actually points to Pods and is grabbing his arm right here to nudge him towards KD. But once again, it's too little, too late. KD is wide open in this corner, wide open for three. And if you look at the point in the game where this is happening, the Warriors are actually not down by too much here. There's 2 minutes left. If the Warriors made a three, it'd be a 3-point game. But by leaving Kevin Durant wide open, you kind of put the game out of reach. Just look at the body language from Pods here. He's, drooping his shoulders. And I think it's just a poor night and an unconnected defense. So the Warriors were one of the best defenses to start the season. They were aggressive with blitzes, attentive through possessions, and looked really crisp on the wings at point of attack. But injuries happen. Obviously, Anthony Melton got injured. Opponents get harder, and their weak points become more obvious. And while it's still early in the season, I think if this 4-game losing streak has made anything obvious, it's that the Warriors haven't escaped the roster and defense issues that have plagued them for the last 2 seasons. So let us know what you think and leave a like and subscribe for more film reviews just like this.